right, coach, picture this. I know this is a time of year where you've probably got a lot of your recruits sitting at home debating between your program and another school. They're unsure, they're overwhelmed by the decision, and they're asking themselves, am I going to fit in? Can I succeed? Which one is the right choice? Then they see a testimonial from one of your players or an alum, someone just like them who overcame some of those same fears and thrived in your program. The thing I find is that when your recruits get information like that, it can really help the decision become more clear for them. It can build momentum. It can create excitement. They can feel hopeful. They can see themselves in your program. That is the power of testimonials. Okay. Testimonials can take your recruiting efforts from good to game changing. They can they can help you get from stuck to all of a sudden things flowing smoothly. They are, I'm telling you, a secret weapon that builds trust, crushes objections, and can help recruits see themselves thriving in your program, right? And not just any testimonial, not, your athlete saying, oh, I love it here, right? We want to tell stories, spark emotion, and create connection. That's what I want to do in this Recruiting Made Simple today. What I'm going to do is you're going to see a handout. I'm not going to go over necessarily all these in this video because I want to keep this short because I have a really bad cold, but this is what I'm going to talk to you about in here, how coaches can create the testimonials. I'm going to give you just a map, right? A standard operating procedure, step by step, how to create the video testimonial, the meeting you can have with your team. You could get all these testimonials in one team meeting. Okay. I have that agenda all mapped out for you in a handout, how to collect testimonials from your alum, the email you can send to alum. It's a template, right? I mean, change it however you want, but it's a good starting place that's going to help you get this put together faster. And then, right, there are many different ways to create testimonials, but one of the things is creating graphics on Canva. And I mapped out the step-by-step checklist for how to do that. So you'll have all of this in a handout, and then just some guidelines for when and how to apply this in the recruiting process. Okay. So always I'm talking about in Recruiting Made Simple, 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 = result, right? Everything we do as college coaches has a result tied to it. And with each result, there is a process. If the process step by step does not lead you to the ideal result, we've got to change the process. This is, and everything that we do, if you really think about and break down everything you do as a coach, right? We're a collection of systems all put together, and and this is how you run your program. This today, and what we do in Recruiting Made Simple is trying to break down each individual piece. Today, we're going to do testimonials, but I want you to be thinking through, the steps. I always am showing this graphic, right? When you first identify a recruit to commitment, there are a lot of little steps that happen. Okay, I want to talk to you about this right away because I want you to be thinking through, where am I getting stuck? What key mile markers happen and then all of a sudden I get ghosted? Or where am I falling short? Where might the use of a key testimonial make things go smoother and get me to the next step? So I want you to be thinking about some of that kind of stuff. What we're going for with testimonials is social proof, right? Social proof is the idea that people look to the experiences of others to guide their decisions. How many of you, before you booked a hotel through an online site, read all the reviews? I certainly have done it. And I make decisions based off that. How many of you look at Amazon and read the product reviews? You've got 7,000 the same product to choose from. We tend to read the reviews before we make a decision. Your recruits are doing the same thing. Your recruits are more likely to do something if they see others doing it. Your prospective student athletes look to their peers for validation and reassurance. It's a powerful tool that can influence a prospect's perception of your program, right? And these recruits and their families want to know if your program delivers on its promises, whether you're developing players, either achieving academic success or preparing them for life after college. Testimonials are concrete examples of those outcomes. Research shows, right, that people trust peer recommendations and personal stories more than formal messaging. Now, I'm not saying you stop emailing and you stop communicating with them. Nope, not saying that at all. But just for young athletes and their families that you're recruiting, these authentic voices of your current athletes and alumni can make a stronger impression sometimes than anything you might say as a coach, right? And again, testimonials from current team and alum, they just serve as powerful trust signals that can influence recruits in the way that we want, right? So why testimonials work? Recruits, they're not just choosing your program based on stats in the facilities, right? They're choosing programs based on stories that resonate with their fears, their dreams, and their aspirations. Are you using those? And testimonials build trust by showing recruits that they've been where you are, and here's how this program changed my life, right? Is testimonials from your current athletes provide relatable, firsthand perspective on the benefits of joining your program. Athletes are more likely to commit to a program that's trusted and endorsed by their peers, right? And families are more likely to trust the experience of other athletes when deciding if your team is the right fit. This showcases your program success. Alumni stories can highlight the long-term impact of your program, based on the successful careers they've gotten themselves into, how easy, or the grad schools they got into, or, especially if they went on to play professional sports and you're, recruiting athletes that have the potential to play, after college. And this is, testimonials can demonstrate how your coaching style and culture lead to athletic and personal growth. This also enhances your credibility. Testimonials and endorsements add legitimacy to your program. I would say this also reduces decision anxiety. Are players like them happy, successful, and thriving in your program? For athletes weighing multiple offers, seeing others thrive in your program can alleviate concerns and make their choice easier. This positive feedback and social media interaction can also generate buzz and encourage recruits to engage with your program, which decreases anxiety, right? And increases movement. The greater engagement, right? Social media, and, getting them to engage, and then commitment rates. The likelihood of a recruit committing increases when they see others have had positive experiences. Hearing positive feedback from peers creates an emotional connection that can nudge undecided recruits towards committing. When it's this time of year, they're looking to make decisions. They need tiebreakers. This is a tiebreaker for you. That's why I'm putting this together right now, because we want to show them what life will be like in your program, how you deliver on your promises as a coach, and that their concerns and doubts are normal and you have solutions. I mean, think about it. If a recruit hears from a player who was in their shoes a year ago, just saying, you know what, I was nervous about choosing a program, but here's now that, I came to campus and made the decision to come, and now here's how it changed my life, or this has been my experience since I've been here. That carries as much, if not more, weight than anything you say as a coach, right? I hate to say it, right? And all that work that you've done as a coach, communicating with them, certainly has gotten them to this point. We're looking for tiebreakers, right? So big picture, we want to avoid generic quotes like, this is the best program ever. While it's positive, these don't connect emotionally or address specific concerns a recruit might have. What I want you to do, and those of you that have listened to anything that I've done before, right, is I'm all about how can we create contrast by showing what life was like before the program and what it's like now. A lot of times I'm talking about contrast, right? Is I coach like this and other coaches coach like that, right? But it's using the same concept with testimonials. When creating testimonials that focus on the transformation, right, is we want to do a before starting point. Again, what doubts, challenges, hesitations did they face when considering your program? And then after, we got to highlight how their experience in your program changed their situation and positively impacted their lives athletically, academically, personally, right? So here's an example without contrast is I love being a part of this program. It's been great. Okay. Versus a much more impactful way to say this is before I came here, I wasn't sure if I was going to get the playing time or if this is the size campus I wanted to be on, if this is a location I wanted to be on, if this is the division I wanted to play at. Insert, right? Whatever objections you tend to face with current athletes, assuming, right, it was relevant to them. I was worried about being far away from home, but after joining, the coaches and the team welcomed me like family. I started earning a spot, right? All these things. You see what I'm saying? Like it's so different. So I don't want you to just make generic, I love being a part of this program, right? Is add some contrast because we're not just competing with other programs for these kids. We are competing with their fears and their doubts, living in every recruit's mind. Testimonials show them the before and after story that they need to help them make this decision. And a lot of times we hear the power of testimonials. It gets them to say, if that person can do this and they're going to help me every step of the way because they help that person, again, it's something that can get them to that next step and take them to commitment. So I want to map out the anatomy of a perfect testimonial, right? A testimonial that connects emotionally. To connect emotionally, we need it to have a clear structure and a story arc just before and after, right? Is all we're doing. That takes a recruit on a journey. So use this script with your current athletes or with alum. And again, this is in a handout for you. But we're trying to make these stories personal, emotional, and relatable to recruits so they have an impact for you. So we want to collect testimonials strategically, right? Here is, you might be thinking, well, which are the best stories to use? Think, players who went from the bench to a starter, or they overcame an injury and now they're doing this, or they weren't sure that, you know what I'm saying? It's just what would be, think of your current team, the journeys that they went on. Academic success, right? Who went from maybe not as good and disciplined academically, bad grades in high school, and now that you're in your program, they're doing this. Or, they were able to balance academics and athletics or whatever, right? What are some of the doubts or major hesitations? I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to this school because it was so small or so far away from home, or the facilities weren't the greatest, or whatever the things are. But now that they're here, what's been their experience? Or post-college success, right? Who are the alum who've gone on to use their experience to thrive after graduation, okay? So here are the steps. Just collect the before. Start with the challenges or doubts. Before joining the program, what was your situation like before, right? How'd that make you feel? And you could even have, again, in a one team meeting, map all these out for them. And then, give them examples so they, just triggers different ideas of how they could say something. And then we're trying to make a connection between something, an experience your current athlete has and something that recruit might be facing that might be causing them to delay their decision. Step 2, again, starting point and then turning point. These are some great questions to ask. And then I just gave you an example of an athlete one. I was hesitant because I didn't know if I'd get enough academic support, but after talking to the coaches and visiting campus, I felt confident it would help me succeed. And now that I'm here, this has been my experience, right? We want to show how your athlete overcame hesitations and doubt. And then what was the after? What's a transformation, right? These are some great questions to ask. And then an example you can give your team if you're going to be recording these. And that's the goal, right? Is what's been the growth and the success, showing tangible and emotional benefits of the program. Here are other things, right, that you can do is just, where are you now? And this would be probably more for alum is, now 30,000 foot view, you went through the program, and now because of your experience in our program, this is what you're doing now, right? What were you doing now that you weren't able to do before? Thanks to this program, I've not only grown, but as a student, lifelong friendships, I'm confident about my future, or I was able to get into this grad school. I got these internships. I got, this job out of college, whatever it is. But vivid pictures of success that are possible if the recruit chooses you. And then calls to action, right? Again, like if, I don't know that your athletes would feel comfortable with this, but it was just, if you're nervous, I was too, trust me, this program is going to challenge, support you. It's help you going to grow. It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. The call to action you could add is call up coach, you should come, would love to have you here. Let's make a decision, however, whatever, if you want to encourage your current team or an alum to add a call to action to get them to take that next step is awesome. I just mapped out some key objections that I hear all the time from coaches, worried about playing time, right? Here's an example of something you could do. School's too far from home, and I just wrote out these example athlete testimonials, alum testimonials. So you had examples, again, the campus might be too small. This would be maybe what an athlete would say. This might be what an alum would say, showing again the ultimate impact their program had on their future career success, because these recruits and their families, right, they're always looking for the return on investment, and that's how the alumni testimonials can help. Academics might not be as good, an athlete testimonial, here's an alum testimonial example that you could go into. But you see what I'm saying is, we're not just sending them random testimonials, right? We got to match the testimonial to the specific the concern that your recruit has, and then how to collect them. We've got to find the stories, focus on the athletes who've experienced some sort of transformation, overcame the doubts, and achieve the success. Second, ask the right questions. I tried to list out as many questions in there as I could, but other questions that you could ask. Showcase before and after. I don't know if you want to edit or just go raw, right, and go off of the first take, but see as best you can if you're giving a script to the person who's recording it. Encourage, where did you start from, and what was the bridge kind of in between, and then what's life after you experience this so far, and then how do we share it as best we can. I like getting a video first. Can we get the video so we can share it, on some of these different things, and, on campus visits and presentations you're doing, because now we can, mesh this together and put together this like highlight reel, right? But if you do shoot it as a video testimonial, I'm all about how can we do something once and repurpose it many different ways. You could email it, you could text it to a recruit, post it on social media. I like, once you have that video, now you have that that's an asset you can use many, many, many years, right? But get the transcription. Now you can turn that transcription into an email case study. Again, you can present it, use the quotes for different things in emails. You could text it to them. You can create these grand, Canva graphics to post on social media, but do it once. And then how can you repurpose it many times? So we're not reinventing the wheel, right? And then again, these are things you're saving and putting it in a folder that's easy to find, so you can go back and find key moments. Again, where are you getting stuck in this process? I found, and I know I've shared this a lot with some of you guys that watch these videos, is I would send my first contact message, and then I took out the need to have a questionnaire. I took out the need for a phone call and increased the number of responses I got. Well, eventually I would get them on a phone call. Okay, get them on a phone call. And then usually it was after that phone call. Sometimes that's when I got ghosted. So I started sending a video of something our team did for fun. But that video basically had the team on there saying, oh my gosh, we love this is such a great group. We love hanging out as a team. This is the kind of things we do for fun together, whatever, right? But it was sharing and giving them that inside look after that first phone call. And man, the momentum built with the kids who wanted that. And I got no's faster from the kids who were like, nope, that's not for me. Perfect, right? It gave me a competitive advantage, me inserting testimonials and videos and quotes from players all throughout. Every month I try to give them at least one player quote, player perspective testimonial, to help just build credibility, build trust as to what I was saying was true. And then there was more, the athletes felt like they knew my team a little better by the time they came to campus, because they'd been hearing from them all throughout. It got them curious. It got them moving faster. But I didn't just randomly put them in wherever. It was, where am I getting stuck? Right. And then just through conversations, again, I tried to make it as specific to the recruit. And this is something I was always collecting testimonials when I found things came up that would be helpful based on, all the common areas with recruiting where I was getting stuck. But for you, leaving this video, I want you to identify who are at least 3 current athletes or alum who have powerful before and after stories. How can we use this testimonial structure that I've laid out to guide their story? Because again, this is trying to provide you the blueprint for creating testimonials that inspire, connect, and convert. These stories aren't just about your program. They're about the lives you've transformed and the legacy you're building, right? So use the structure that I provided, give it a try, and then we got to start sharing these stories in the emails you're proactively sending, trying to get recruits to, you're showing them how serious you are in them, showing them that you want them, showing them that this is the place for them, trying to build trust, credibility, right? And social proof, showing them what other people are doing and the impact you have had on other people and how it can impact them, right? Social media, right? In-person visits, on-campus visits, okay? So as I wrap this up, trying to be quick. I have not been feeling well, so I'm trying to do this just with a video. But remember, every recruit is looking for a story that they can believe in, a story that makes them feel like they belong. Let your athletes be the one to tell the story. And I know we don't want to take up a ton of our athletes' time. This is literally you can do this in one 30-minute to an hour team meeting. Get all these things ready. Even, if you want, I will give you this PowerPoint, right? I'll give you the PDF for those of you, right, in Recruiting Made Simple, or those of you that work with me with Dan Tutor. You'll get the PDF of this PowerPoint. Show it to your team. Use it to map out quick meeting. Let's crank these out. But as you have your athletes tell the stories, I'm telling you, it can help you get unstuck. It can transform your recruiting efforts and take things to the next level. It can make things smoother. It can make things easier, right? Go out, give it a try, make it happen. If you need my help, reach out. Mandy at busy.coach or Mandy at dantutor.com would love to help. Let me know how I can help. Good luck.